Hey guys, so last week the digital universe, I should say, was in an uproar because of the life and loss of the famous YouTuber, or I should say infamous YouTuber, Kevin Samuels. On this episode, I'm going to break down his brand and his legacy. No bashing, just the buzz. Catch you in a minute.
Welcome to the Brand and Hustle podcast, the no fluff, no bull broadcast for busy entrepreneurs who need fast, effective business strategies. Get ready to build your business, your brand, and your bank account with Master Brand Coach Jay Stone.
Hey guys, it's me, Jay Stone, the brand mother, bringing you one of our brand buzz episodes. And that's where I take something in pop culture and break down the brand. So if you don't know, Kevin Samuels, the infamous YouTuber, passed away unexpectedly last week. The news reports say that it was due to cardiac arrest or cardiac failure. So, he's a YouTuber, if you don't know who he is, who speaks a lot about relationships in the African American community. And I think that his claim to fame was initially starting out with men, being a fashion stylist, talking to them about getting their finances together and really being the head of the household. And then at some point, his commentary switched to women. Now, his commentary was really very controversial because he would rate women and say things like, you're average at best, or you're a 6, or and tell women, you can't, if you're not fit, fun, and feminine, men are not men of high value. He started with the high value man. High value men won't be interested in you, and he just really was women that came on his platform. They were very combative. And the things that he would say would be, taken and put on social media clips, and the clips would go viral. And he said something at some point, women over 35 are leftovers. So it would be statements like that would become very, very controversial. So needless to say, the African American women became highly offended. And really just, he just was the devil reincarnate to them. Now, that was how many African American women felt about him, but there was a group of women who did not disagree with the things that he said. There were some that said that he was even helpful with them in terms of how they needed to show up to date a high value man. But there was a gaggle of African American men that totally agree with him, and they felt that he was the voice. He had the courage to say, the platform to say, and the voice to say a lot of things that they had felt. Now, that's the controversy. I want to deal with him as a brand. So now, first of all, let me just deal with something that I totally believe is a myth. There were rumors that when he died, he was broke. He didn't have any money. I don't believe that. Just based on the number of YouTube followers that he had, he definitely was doing, tens of thousands of dollars just in YouTube revenue. Not to mention there is Instagram, and Instagram pays better than other platforms for your content. And then from what I understand, there were several people that he would coach with or work with one-on-one. And he also had some sort of membership. So I don't believe he was broke. He was definitely I'm just taking a guess here, he's probably doing about $25,000, $30,000 a month based on just what I could put my eyes on. All right. And just as a person who, was a coach, content creator, things like that, I can kind of guesstimate. Now, I could be off, but he definitely wasn't broke. All right. So let's just not put those rumors out there. The other thing that I want to address is the circumstances of his death. Right. So the news reports say, now this is not me with rumors, the news reports say that he met a young lady at a bar, picked her up at the bar, went home with her that night. She stayed overnight. And at some point, they had adult relations. And at some point, I think around the next morning, he complained of chest pains and then collapsed on top of her, cardiac failure. They called 911. He didn't survive. Okay. And so the picture circulated of this woman. Okay. Now remember, this is the gentleman that says fit, um, fit, feminine, and fun. Okay. Images circulating of this woman. Let's just be clear. She was gorgeous. She was definitely what men would consider fine. I mean, she definitely had that small waist and, hourglass figure, but she was not fit. Okay, she got little chubby arms. You could tell she ain't really spending no time in the gym. She has a great body, but not fit. Okay, there for me was a little disconnect in the message that you say that high value men want, and you consider yourself a high value man. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect in who you say you are and who you actually live as. Okay, so that was one thing. The fact that she was a stranger, right, makes me question how he makes decisions. Because what I want to say is if he had a woman in his life that was a significant other, those chest pains didn't just show up yesterday. A significant other would have had him go to the doctor. Okay? So while he said a lot of African-American women would die alone, he was seeking comfort with someone that was a stranger. And so that for me, what you said would happen to other people seemed to be what was actually happening in your life. So there's a little disconnect for me in the authenticity of who you say you are versus how you actually live. That's not a good look for the brand, right? That's not a good look for the brand. And so those were some things that for me just didn't seem to align. Let's talk about his legacy, right? I don't know about his money. There are rumors that he's been divorced 2 or 3 times. There's rumor that he has a kid. Don't know about those things because they are rumor. The legacy that I'm speaking about is his reputation, right? And it's a reputation of controversy, okay? Which he seemed to be comfortable with, right? He seemed to be very comfortable with. I think people talked a lot about the fact that there were a lot of people considered to be celebrating his death. I definitely saw some people that said some things that were negative about him or ugly about him. But what I saw the most, and this was just what I saw in my news feeds, was not necessarily people celebrating. It was actually people that were kind of like, yeah, I'm unbothered, right? And being unbothered is not the same as celebrating. And I do think that people are allowed to have their full range of emotions, whether they're positive or negative. But I do think that it was hurtful for the people who were friends, fans, and family to see that people were so unbothered, particularly when these folks are very bothered and very affected by the loss. So what they felt is that no one was empathizing with their pain. And it was a little bit true, right? A friend of mine said, shout out to Mo Washington. He said, I've never seen so many ding dong, the witch is dead posts in all my life. And if you've ever seen the movie The Wizard of The Wizard of Oz, and the Oompa Loompas come out and they were like, the ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch. Sorry, reverted back to my theater days. Anyway, that definitely is the sentiment that I saw on social media regarding how people felt about his death, people that did not like him. And that speaks to the legacy that he left. It's one of conflict and controversy. And his lifestyle was one of conflict and controversy. His words were one of conflict and controversy. And that's just what his legacy is going to be. And so what we have to think about as we're building brands, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want it to be conflict? Do you want it to be controversy? Do you want it to be separation? Do you want it to be, I pulled people together. I helped people. I changed lives. For some people, his legacy will be he changed my life. He started conversations I couldn't have. He made me better. That will be his legacy. But in general, when he's reported on, it's going to be around controversy, right? And I think that it's unfortunate because I don't think that that was his intention, was to leave a legacy of controversy. I think that he definitely was comfortable being the bad guy, right? He was comfortable not being liked. He was comfortable doing what he did. And that's okay that he was comfortable with that. And here's the other thing. I definitely feel like in regards to his brand, There's going to be people that are going to now buy his content, buy a book about him, write a movie about him. I definitely think that there'll be a lot more to come. It's definitely not done, and it's definitely not over. I think the questions that we have to ask ourselves is, what kind of legacy do we want to live with our brand? For me, I'd like to be the funny chick who actually help women change their lives through business and economic equality. That's the legacy I want to live. And so I pull back from some of the controversy online specifically because it's just not worth the damage to the legacy. Anyway, that's it for me. I look forward to catching you on the flip side.
Don't worry, there are more episodes of Brand and Hustle on the way. But if you can't wait to learn more badass business strategies, head on over to jaistone.com. That's JAISTONE.com. We'll see you next time.